Hi there, my name is Serge. I'm a music instructor, composer, and producer. And in this video, I'd like to help all my students, and not only my students, but all of you who want to make music. I'd like to help with some advice regarding how to set up your studio, and make it affordable. And low budget, because not many of us can afford expensive studio equipment, even not like a medium range equipment. So what we're looking for, low cost but high quality equipment, that will give us high quality output in our music production. So I try to put all my experience and years of working with different software and hardware, and trying various equipments in my life. I just decided to come up with like a general guideline with some basic advice for like how to set up your low budget studio. I have to tell you, I don't have any affiliation with any software or hardware maker, so I'm not advertising anyone. I don't take a right or wrong, good or bad position here. These are just my personal views, my personal recommendations. You're free to choose any equipment you'd like to. Again, this is just my desire to help you a little bit. To set up your studio so you can actually start making music, and you spend less money and less effort and less time on looking for equipment and making mistakes that I did. All right, so in order to start, let me list a few things that you will always need. Like the major components. Obviously you need a computer, right? So you need a computer, could be Mac, PC, doesn't matter at this point. You need an audio interface, and we'll get to that later. What does it mean? Why do we need an audio interface? This is something I have right here. This is my audio interface right here. You need studio monitors, speakers, which you see I do have as well. Headphones could be optional. Microphone could be optional. It's the one I have just behind the camera stand. MIDI keyboard, a MIDI controller, and obviously need a working environment, which is a digital audio workstation, or DAW, and obviously you need software instruments. And I'll get into each and one of these components in details. Also in this video you'll see a link below where I summarize my recommendation into PDF file, and you can download it, print it, and I hope it's gonna help you. So let's get started. Many people ask me, oh, PC or Mac? And I don't want to get into and forever fight here which one is better, PC or Mac. It doesn't matter, honestly. We are talking about low budget studio setup. So if you currently own PC, stay with PC. If you own Mac, just stay with Mac. It doesn't matter. All we need to make sure is that your computer, PC or Mac, has a fast hard drive with a speed at least 7200 RPM. Okay, the reason for that, because everything is installed on the hard drive, and if you have a slower than 7200 RPM hard drive, it just might slow down the process, and you might get some overload messages actually frequent overload messages in your computer. So make sure you have at least 7200 RPM hard drive. Make sure you have enough operating memory in your computer, and To be honest, I would start from 4 gigabytes and higher, and just to be safe. In my life, I used to work maybe 5 years ago. I used to work with even with 2 gigabytes of operating memory, and I was fine. But since then, software being upgraded and the software instruments being upgraded, they give us better quality. They give us more options, but they also consume more memory. So just to be safe, just go for 4 gigabytes of RAM at least on your computer. And also make sure you have one of the strongest processors, at least starting from core to dual processor, and with a frequency at least 2 gigahertz, and anything higher is good. Again, if you have one of the old processors, like I don't know, like if some of you know a processor like Sempron or anything like that, that will not work for music. Next decision is the work environment, which is called DAW, or DAW, and working environment is where everything happens. It's where we record audio or MIDI signal. It's where we edit everything. It's our work environment. It's actually what I have in my case. It's a Logic Pro, and it's environment when I create all my music, starting from electronica, pop projects, film scores, everything. But this is my working station. This is where I work. There are many working environments out there. Like I have Logic Pro. There's also Ableton, Reason, Fruity Loops, Cakewalk, Sonar, Samplitude, Cubase, Nuendo. Just name them. There are plenty. There are so many. Many of them out there, including more like studio standards, Pro Tools, Digital Performer as well, etc. Now, without getting into too many details regarding which working environment should I choose, I personally would recommend 2 of them. I would recommend the Logic Pro, which I'm using at the moment. I can also recommend you using Cubase. The reason for that, these 2 applications are, in my opinion, the most universal and the most common in music production, and they're most common for the good reasons. Now you have to realize that Logic Pro is only available on Macintosh computers. So if you are a PC user, I recommend you working with Cubase. Now Cubase can also work on Mac, and I have Cubase on my computer as well. And but I'm using it only for teaching purpose, because I do have students who own PC, and it just helps me to use Cubase on my Mac to show them how to use Cubase on their PC, since they cannot have Logic Pro. Again, I'm not against any other digital audio workstation. If you're familiar with the environment and all the tools and how to work efficiently, that's great. You don't have to switch anything. You just need to know your software well, and basically this is it. I also want you to note that Cubase very often comes for free. Light versions of Cubase, like Cubase AI4 or AI5. There's also Cubase Lite version. They come for free if you buy TC Electronics audio interface or Steinberg audio interface, or if you buy some, I know some Yamaha synths and keyboards, they also come for free with the Cubase. The reason is that the reason for that is because Yamaha owns Steinberg, the company that makes Cubase. Also, if you purchase Contact Contact 6 audio interface, that one also comes with a free Cubase. Now I'm mentioning all that because I'm trying to save you some money, and those light versions of Cubase are sufficient enough to start working on music. Later on you can always upgrade to different version of Cubase, and for example Cubase Essential is only $99, so it's not a big deal. You can get Cubase 6 artist version for I think for $249, which again is not a big money for working environment. Cubase Logic Pro price is $500, and the reason it comes with a package of many things in it, so it's not just working environment, also additional products in it, lots of software instruments and other application, including thousands of loops, And so if you own Mac and you have extra $500, go with Logic. If you do not have this extra money, just use the opportunity to use light versions of Cubase to start working on music. So all I'm trying to do in this video, I'm trying to save you some money. Next component is an audio interface. So what is an audio interface? It's a little box you have right here. Well, I can't really pull it out. Basically what it does, it's connected to my studio monitors, to my speakers, and it's connected to my computer, and it serves multiple purposes. And one of the major purposes of the audio interfaces is to reduce latency, and latency is it's a delay in audio signal. So for example, if I don't have an audio interface and I want to play piano using my MIDI controller, and piano sound comes from my software, so when I hit the key you will not hear the sound immediately, not like here. Without audio interface, you're gonna press the piano key and then the sound will come like half a second, maybe a second later. It's gonna be delayed, so which makes it almost impossible to play anything. So this is one of the major reasons why we need audio interfaces. Another good reason is we can record any external audio source. So I can take my guitar and plug it in and I can record guitar. I can plug in microphone, I can record microphone in the computer. So any audio source is recorded through the audio interface. And we also need them obviously to connect the speakers, the studio monitors, since in music production we can really use the computer speakers or regular speakers. They don't do the job they need to do, so we have to use studio monitors. And studio monitors, they have a 1/4 inch input, and I'm sure there's no computer that has 1/4 inch inputs. And audio interface provides us with this connection. So basically 3 major goals for audio interfaces is to reduce latency, to record an external audio source, and connect studio monitors. Obviously there could be more depending on how complex and how well is the audio interface, but these are the major goals. And basically again we're talking about low budget studio setup. So I'm just trying to give you, I'll try to give you the best advice for the money. So what you can start from, and again it's on my PDF, you can start from Steinberg C12. Now this one is a really good audio interface if you are using Cubase. If you're going to use Cubase as your working environment, this is the perfect audio interface for the price. Now you have to also realize that these audio interfaces, they have different connections. So the Steinberg C12 has USB connection, which is every computer now has USB connection, so that's no problem. It works perfectly with a Cubase, so good integration here. Pretty good quality, you know, and the only thing, it doesn't have round MIDI jack connections. So what does it mean? So in order to send a signal to computer to the software, we connect like external source like MIDI keyboard, and I just hit the note, let's say E, and computer will record the note E. In my case here, my keyboard is connected with USB cable to computer, so through that cable I send that that note to my computer, so it knows that I'm playing E. On some older keyboards, older MIDI controllers, or if you own a digital piano, they don't come with USB connection to computer. And if you look at the back, you'll see two round connections, and it says MIDI in, MIDI out. So these are MIDI jacks, and if you have one of those old keyboards, then in this case, in order to use this Steinberg C12 audio interface, you will require to get a MIDI to USB adapter for your keyboard. I'm trying to give you a fair warning. So if you purchase, let's say, this audio interface from Steinberg, and then you'll see there's no place to connect your keyboard, so don't be surprised. So in this case, you just need an audio MIDI to USB adapter. Second audio interface that I recommend is TC Electronic Connect 6. It's actually the one I have here. Amazing quality, really good recording quality, good output quality. It has an excellent sound. The only thing, it comes only with FireWire connection. There's no USB connection. So if your computer doesn't have FireWire connection, that's probably not a good choice for you. Also, that the TC Electronic audio interface doesn't have any MIDI jacks. So if you own one of the old keyboard types, consider getting a MIDI to USB adapter, and it costs maybe around $10 only. Regarding price, well, you see on PDF that here in Vancouver, currently Steinberg C12 comes for around like $170, and TC Electronic Connect 6 comes for around $200, and both of these audio interfaces, they come with the Cubase, free Cubase version. Steinberg C12 comes with Cubase AI5, and TC Electronic comes with AI4, which is older version, but to be honest, it's not a big deal. You can work. I used to work in older Cubase versions, and I was fine. I made my first film score in Cubase SX3, so no complaints here, and I'm sure you can start working with this digital audio workstations. Now, the next audio interface I can recommend is Complete Audio 6. This one costs more money, $300, but again, it's been highly reviewed. It has a great great quality. Has USB comes with USB connection, and the Complete Audio 6 has the round MIDI connection, so you don't need any adapter. You can plug in your keyboard directly to the Complete Audio 6. It also comes with a Cubase LE5 version and some software instruments. I provided you with links in my PDF file, so you can just go and click and look at every one of them, see what is your price range, and see the options, like what, you know, what's more convenient to you. Just consider like things like USB FireWire, USB or FireWire connection. Do you have USB MIDI control, or you have the old type, or, you know, with a round MIDI output connection? So like you just need to consider all those things. All this audio interface, they all really good quality. I wouldn't recommend anything bad to you. And obviously there are more expensive and better audio interfaces like RME and etc. Not getting into that, again, we're talking about low budget studio setup. Another one is to look at is PreSonus audio box, which I've been using myself for a year, and it comes with USB connection, also has the round MIDI connections. Price wise, it's like around $160, so that's probably the cheapest one you can get, is a PreSonus audio box. Now the only problem with PreSonus, it doesn't come with a Cubase free version. It comes with a PreSonus with their own digital audio workstation, which I'm not familiar with, so there's nothing I can tell you about it. I'm just not familiar with it. So if you already own Cubase or Logic, then probably PreSonus could be a good money saver, because quality wise it's pretty good, has pretty good recording quality, pretty good output. So all these 4 audio interfaces that I mentioned to you, they're all pretty good. So look at your budget, because you have here audio interface from $160 to $300. So plenty of options for a good price and good quality. So next one, we'll talk about MIDI controllers. So MIDI controls, usually we mean a keyboard, and there's so many MIDI controls out there today. Go to music store, half of the keyboards are MIDI controllers, and there are small ones, tiny ones, bigger one with few knobs, lots of knobs and sliders, etc. I will not talk about those controllers because I teach all my students. I teach at least some basic piano skills, and I believe at least every musician needs to have at least some basic keyboarding skills. You don't have to be a pianist or anything like that, but most of my students, even who purchase small MIDI controls with light keys, later on they realize that they made a mistake and they'd like to get a heavy-weighted piano feel keyboard, because they realize it's more beneficial and it's more expressive and it's more fun to play around. So I made my research regarding heavy-weighted MIDI controllers, and I'm sorry I'm not mentioning anything else in here, because honestly there are too many options, and it doesn't really matter if you don't actually play the keyboard and you just need the MIDI controller just to trigger some notes. Then probably I would look at some of Novation MIDI controllers, since they have a really cool auto map feature. But again, I won't mention them in this video. In this video I came up with a list of heavy-weighted MIDI controllers, and the first choice is, price-wise, is Studio Logic SL990. Now, Studio Logic keyboards are made by Italian company Fatar, and the reason why I recommend this one at the first place, because all Studio Logic keyboards, they have extremely very close feeling to the real piano. They usually come with like ivory keys and have a very good keyboard action. So SL990 is a great choice if you want to get that real piano feel. And it costs only here in Canada. You can get it at Long McQuaid. You can order it for $490 approximately. And the only thing you need to know about SL990, it has a great piano feel, but it comes with a round MIDI connection, so you'll need an adapter, again from USB to MIDI adapter, which costs around $10. And then you need SL990 doesn't come with any additional controllers on top. There are like no knobs or sliders or anything like that. So some people might ask, why do we need all these sliders and knobs on? The thing is, like I do have a couple sliders and knobs on my Yamaha KX8 controller, a couple buttons, assignable knobs. To be honest, I'm not using them heavily. I usually take my mouse and I just change the settings in the software, or just create what's called automation for the software. So I rarely use them. I know some artists, some people, they really rely on those controllers. So it's a personal taste. If you feel comfortable just grabbing mouse and doing some changes here and programming your instrument, then probably you have nothing to worry about. You just can get this SL990 and be happy. And later on, if you realize you just want to have this extra, controllers, you can always get the one from Novation for around like $200. You can get a really cool controller with auto map functions and lots of sliders and knobs, just as a separate unit, in case if you ever need it. Like my personal experience, I never felt like I really need it, so I never purchased it. Was never a big deal to me. So the next choice I would recommend is Yamaha KX8 MIDI controller, the one I have. The reason it has a great price and good features, and because Yamaha owns Steinberg, which makes Cubase software, it has a perfect integration with Cubase. The only problem, this keyboard has been discontinued, so if you can find it, use secondhand on maybe some stock, leftovers in the stock. Consider yourself lucky. It has a good price, pretty good keyboard. I would say it's close to piano. It's not same feeling as a Studio Logic MIDI controller, but it's pretty good. It's heavy weighted and it's not bad. Yamaha, they make pretty good keyboards. Another one, the next keyboard controller is CME UF80. Initially I was a little bit skeptical regarding this controller. I wasn't sure about the quality and other things, and I haven't personally tried it, but I've read a bunch of reviews, and one of the sources for that keyboard, I read a review on Sound Music magazine, which I like a lot and I respect a lot. They give pretty good reviews and good advices on music equipment, and basically the overall impression, it's very close to piano feel, and it has already lots of sliders and knobs and controllers, and the reviews are not bad in general for this controller. So it's a CME UF80 88 notes MIDI controller. So might consider this one as well. So if you go to music, so you can try playing around it, see how it feels. And it's only $560. So for heavy weighted controller, it's a good price. The last one I would recommend you to look at is Studio Logic. So another keyboard from Studio Logic, VMK188. Again, like any Studio Logic keyboard, has very close to piano feel, and this one also comes with a bunch of sliders and controllers. So for heavy-weighted MIDI controls, I recommend is Studio Logic SL990, Yamaha KX8, CME UF80, and Studio Logic VMK188. So next component is studio monitors. Now sometimes I go to some people and I see they sit in the small room and they have these huge speakers, and to To be honest, the size depends on the room size. So you see, in my case, I have very small studio monitors because my room size is not that big. So usually 5-inch studio monitors are sufficient for to work with. They're pretty good. They'll do the job, and you don't need to spend extra money to get 6 or 8-inch speakers. So if you have, like, just kind of regular small room, even medium room size, you don't have to spend extra money to get 6 or 8-inch studio monitors. Just consider getting 5 inches. I came up with 2 models that I recommend to you. One is Mackie MR5 MK2 studio monitors. Again, very high reviews, good price, and I heard lots of good feedbacks. I haven't tried them personally, but again, I heard lots of good things about those studio monitors. The other one is KRK Rocket Series. Those one actually I tried. I owned them for 2 years, and I love them. I like the way they sound, and I had a good time with them. Just wanted to realize that these studio monitors, those speakers, these are not just regular speakers, alright? They give us a good stereo image, they give us balanced sound, flat sound, and if you're not using proper equipment, you just won't hear things properly. Especially later on, if you go beyond music composition or arrangement, you want to do music production, it's a must-have. You must have a good studio monitor. Headphones are optional. If you have studio monitors, obviously you don't need headphones, but it's good to have a good set of headphones, because sometimes you just want to, maybe you want to be quiet so no one hears you. Sometimes you just want to do some comparison, because there are things you might not hear in your studio monitors, and you just want to grab your headphones and just give it another try in your headphones. I personally own the German Sennheiser. The model I own is HD280 Pro, which were rated best headphones for the low budget, and those are pretty good. And there was a big article in Sound on Sound magazine about headphones, and a huge article, and those were rated the best headphones for the low budget. If you have some extra finances and you can spend $200 on your headphones, consider getting Beyerdynamics DT770 Pro with 80 ohms. Again, it's all my PDF, so you probably won't remember what I'm saying right now, but you have my PDF. The Beyerdynamics headphones for approximately $200. Sometimes they go on sale for $179. I consider them the best. These are the best, and I would personally buy Beyerdynamics today, but I own already those ones, so I don't feel like I need to have two pairs of headphones at home. So if this one ever breaks or whatever, then obviously I'll get the Beyerdynamics headphones for myself. So now we are approaching our final components in our music studio. It's a software. So imagine now you have the MIDI controller, you have audio interface, you have studio monitors, you have computer, you have your working environment, Logic or Cubase or whatever you're using, and maybe headphones, maybe not. Again, these headphones are optional. Now you need software. You need you need some sounds to play with. There is an instrument like that, which will give you, I can't say 100% answer to all your demands, but I'm sure it will cover 90%, at least 90% of all your needs. And it's a complete 8 package from Native Instruments. No, it's a set of I don't know, I think around 20 instruments with over 100 gigabytes of sounds. There are lots of synthesizers. There are like orchestral sounds, choir sounds, different band instrument sound, different instrument sounds like a guitar, saxophones, organs, pianos, um, world instruments, vintage instruments, drums, drum machines, just name it. I highly recommend you going to I highly recommend you to go to Native Instruments website and just have a look at Complete 8 package. So I'll recommend you what I have. The microphone that I own myself is by Canadian company Kel, K-E-L. The microphone I own is the microphone I own is HM3C. This microphone is condenser microphone. Then you can click on the link on PDF and see what it looks like. This microphone is good. Basically, it's kind of universal. It's good for acoustic instruments. It's good for vocals. Just it's basically good for anything you want to record. Has very good quality, and comparing to other microphones, it's not that expensive. I hope this guide, this video and PDF file will help you somehow, to choose your equipment, and I hope it also help you to see the bigger picture of what you need in order to set up your first music studio. If you have personal certain questions you can always ask me. You can schedule a consultation session with me, and I will review your goals so you can tell me exactly what you want to do, what type of music you want to make, and what are your plans, and I'll try advise you in the most let's say beneficial, and I'll try to guide you in the best direction for your needs specifically, without without spending too much money. Invest smart in your studio. Don't rush with any purchase, and I'm always here if you need me. Take care.